Representative Jim McGovern, the ranking Democrat on the House Rules Committee, used his opening statement today to absolutely eviscerate Donald Trump and the Republican Party for trying to pass this big, beautiful bill, which is, as Jim McGovern describes it, reverse Robin Hood, stealing from America's most needy, the poorest in America, and giving massive handouts to fossil fuel companies, corporations, and the richest Americans in our country. While you're listening to McGovern's statement, be sure to share your reflections down in the comments below and subscribe to Reflect Politics so you get videos like this delivered straight to you. And now, here is Jim McGovern.
The chairwoman just said that Democrats were going to say that the sky is falling. Well, I'm not going to say the sky is falling. I'm going to say that health care is going to get ripped away from millions of people. I'm going to say that food is going to be taken off the table of many families in this country who rely on SNAP as a way to make sure that they don't go hungry. And I'm going to say that the richest among us are going to get a tax cut. So it has nothing to do with the sky. It has everything to do with what is right and what is wrong. We are here today on a bill that just dropped from the Senate, hot off the press, passed only an hour ago. It's massive. Here it is, nearly 1,000 pages long. And I've got to ask, have any of you read it this time? Because last time we met on this legislation, many of our Republican colleagues had not. And that's no accident. It's by design. It's a direct result of Republican leadership and the White House jamming this bill through Congress with zero transparency. Now, let's be totally honest. This entire process has been legislative malpractice. It's been negotiated in back rooms from the start. In April, conservatives argued for and ultimately got aggressive instructions in the budget for committees to slash spending. I wonder how they feel now that the Senate has violated their hard-fought instructions by over $500 billion. And let's not forget, this bill was jammed through the House in May so quickly that some Republicans said they would have opposed it if they'd known what was actually in it. And now, after another series of backroom negotiations in the Senate, we're getting jammed again, without any chance for the public or independent experts, for that matter, to fully review the bill. And let me make a prediction. If this ugly bill passes, it's going to get a lot uglier when people realize what's in it. And not even Donald Trump's new $300 bottle of cologne will cover the stench. This bill will hurt people in every congressional district in this country. And Republicans are racing to get it passed before the American people can figure out what's in it. There's no real deadline. That we're working against, none. July 4th is just an arbitrary marker that Trump made up. He wants a victory lap on Friday, just weeks after throwing himself a military birthday parade, complete with tanks rolling down Constitution Avenue, one that cost taxpayers tens of millions of dollars. He now wants to have a 4th of July signing ceremony at the White House for this dumpster fire of a bill. We're rushing, not because the country demands it, but because he wants to throw himself yet another party. This isn't policy, it's ego management. So why not slow down? Why not actually do the work? Why not fix the problems instead of pretending that we're in the middle of some 5-alarm emergency? I mean, Vice President Vance just had to break a tie in the Senate. Many of the Republicans who voted for this bill acknowledge that that in its current form, it is seriously flawed. And listen to this quote from Senator Murkowski, who just caved and voted for this bill. And you got to love this. She said, quote, "My hope is that the House is going to look at this and recognize that we're not there yet," end quote. I mean, my question to her is, if you really believe that, then why the hell did you vote for this bill? It doesn't make any sense. It's a dereliction of your duty as a United States Senator and as a representative for the people in Alaska. I mean, when was the last time this current House of Representatives has fixed or solved anything? I mean, where have you been, Senator Murkowski? This Republican House is dysfunction on steroids. And let me say to my Republican friends, I understand that the Senate just jammed you, but you don't have to be complicit. I get it. I know the Republican leadership and Trump don't want scrutiny. They don't want the American people to understand what's really happening here. This bill is a middle finger to millions of Americans. It isn't just a bad bill, It is the most dangerous piece of legislation in modern history. Dangerous because of the very real damage it will do to real people, sick people, hungry kids, families just scraping by. If this is Republicans' top legislative priority this Congress, it tells us everything about where your values lie. And it's not with working families, not with struggling communities, but with mega corporations, billionaires, and Donald Trump. Madam Chair, I know that once I'm done, you will say, as you did at the beginning, that I'm fear-mongering, that Democrats, nonpartisan scorekeepers, analysts, experts in industry, doctors, children's hospitals, food banks, utilities, organized labor, and journalists, all what they say about this bill, every legitimate critique that we have heard about this bill, you will say that it is hyperbole. But just because you say that, it doesn't make it so. Facts still do matter, and the facts say that this bill is terrible. Now, we know Republicans are about to gut Medicaid and cut Medicare. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. This bill rips health coverage away from roughly 17 million people. Of those, 11.8 million will lose health care due to the Medicaid and Affordable Care Act cuts. Another 5 million will lose their health care because Republicans are allowing premium assistance to expire for those who qualify for help with paying for health insurance on the ACA exchanges. Now, that's not my opinion. That's the conclusion of the CBO and every single other credible budget expert across the country. The Joint Committee on Taxation, Penn-Wharton Budget Model, Yale Budget Lab, Tax Policy Center, and even right-leaning organizations like the Tax Foundation and researchers at the American Enterprise Institute. This bill will devastate rural hospitals, shut down nursing homes, hammer community health centers. It will punish people we ought to protect, the elderly, the disabled, low-income kids, and working families just trying to survive. It will end nutrition assistance for millions. We are the richest country on earth, and you will be taking away food from our own children. Why? To shovel tax breaks to billionaires and corporate executives? I mean, give me a break. This bill will kill thousands of clean energy jobs and raise Americans' energy rates while rewarding big oil with billions in subsidies. Because Republicans think welfare is okay if you're ExxonMobil, but not if you're a family struggling to pay your skyrocketing power bill, or a grandma who stays in assisted living, or our parents struggling to put food on the table. It gives $150 billion more to the Pentagon, not for peace or security, but to line the pockets of defense contractors. This is on top of record levels of defense spending that we already provide the Pentagon in our annual spending bills. For all you budget hawks out there, let me ask you, when was the last time the Pentagon passed an audit? The answer is never. You're worried about someone on SNAP who gets an average of $2 per meal, might get $2.75 per meal, but you couldn't care less when millions of dollars are wasted by defense contractors and cost overruns. There is $900 billion for giant corporations, corporations that are known to lay off hundreds of workers as they stash their inflated checks in offshore tax havens like in the Cayman Islands. And this bill showers the wealthiest Americans with tax cuts. Get this, a family making less than $50,000 per year, they'd get less than $1 a day in tax cuts. I mean, you can't buy a damn cup of coffee with that. But those making $1 million a year or more, well, they'll get more than $250 a day in tax breaks, or $96,000 tax breaks on average in a single year. I mean, that's even worse than the original House bill. That's how rigged this bill is to benefit the wealthy. The average millionaire gets more in tax cuts than most families earn in an entire year. And to be clear, there is deep support on the Democratic side for extending the middle-class tax cuts and passing no tax on tips. We'd be happy to work with you on something that delivers just that. But Republicans are holding bipartisan initiatives hostage to provide handouts to billionaires and gut Medicaid and SNAP. Now, meanwhile, the new standards for the child tax credit leaves 1 in every 3 eligible children behind. Because this bill doesn't invest in children, it abandons them. All this, and Republicans are adding more than $3 trillion to the national debt. You hear that? over $3 trillion. Now, I know some of the Republicans on this committee consider themselves real fiscal hawks. Well, you cannot, with a straight face, say that you care about deficits and the debt if you vote for this bill, whether that's out of this committee or on the House floor. This bill even raises the debt ceiling by $5 trillion because Republicans know the policies in here will explode our debt. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. This is the biggest transfer of wealth in American history, stealing from the poor to give to the rich. This is Republicans' let them eat cake moment. It robs from the most vulnerable to pay off the already powerful. It tells every kid without wealth, this government has nothing for you, that the American dream is only for trust fund babies. And here's what baffles me. You all know the truth. You all know the truth. You know this bill is cruel. You know that it will hurt millions of Americans. But Trump wants you to fold. And the sad fact is that many of you will fold in a nanosecond. You'll vote for this even though you know it's bad for your own constituents. You're absolutely terrified that the guy in the White House will get mad and try to find someone to run against you in a primary. Like one of our Republican colleagues said this weekend on CNN, and I quote, "Everyone in the House knows the peril they're in if they vote no on this thing. They know that their jobs are at risk," end quote. You're terror-stricken that what happened over the weekend to Senator Tom Tillis will happen to you. Well, Senator Tillis did the right thing, speaking truth to power. You should listen to him when he says that the Senate's version of this bill betrays President Trump's promise not to take Medicaid away from its rightful recipients. He decided to retire because he wanted to put his constituents first, and quite frankly, I think he's tired of dealing with the relentless MAGA threats and BS. Truly, I've never seen anything like this in my life, the kind of petrified fealty we're seeing on the right, scared by a man who called voting against this bill the ultimate betrayal. Like, what kind of president talks like that? That's the language of dictators, not the language of a president. But let me remind you all of something. The people you should be afraid of, betraying are not in the White House or dining at Mar-a-Lago. They're back home. The people in Boone, North Carolina, in Moorhead, Minnesota, in Rock Hill, South Carolina, in Austin, Texas, in Salem, Indiana, in Jamestown, New York, in Tifton, Georgia, in Abington, Virginia, in Noonan, Georgia. They're the ones who hired you. And if you vote for this bill, you're voting to screw them over, plain and simple. When their kids go hungry, when their health care is gone, when their energy bills skyrocket, when they watch big oil rake in profits while they get pink slips, when they realize that billionaires like Jeff Bezos are getting 40 times the tax breaks that they're getting, when they watch the wealthy get richer and they're left behind, they are going to feel the pain that you brought on them. And I think you're going to see that reflected in the next election. The American people are watching. They deserve better than this. They deserve certainly better than this cowardice, better than this cruelty, better than this betrayal. So I'm asking all of you to have a spine, find your moral compass, vote no on this bill, and come up with something better. There's still time. Work with us on tax relief for people who are not making millions and billions of dollars. Let's go back to the drawing board. We can come up with a bipartisan consensus. And so, Madam Chair, for a million reasons, from process to substance, and quite frankly, to give Republican members a chance to read their own bill, I move that the committee do now adjourn.
Jim McGovern there, ending by warning Republicans that if they pass this, their voters are going to feel betrayed and they are going to vote them out of office in the midterms. I am a little skeptical just because MAGA voters, Republican voters have been conditioned to trust whatever Donald Trump says. And we know that when their health care is ripped away from them, when their SNAP benefits, their access to food is ripped away from them, he is going to blame Democrats. And the Republican Party is going to fall in line behind him and attack Democrats and try to blame them for this budget. And a lot of people, a lot of Americans are going to trust them. And so that's where we have to be really strategic in trying to get moments like this into those MAGA and conservative social media bubbles, because this is the big warning. This is Paul Revere's midnight ride, warning America that there are a lot of people who are about to feel this legislation in a way that we've never really seen before. And for the chairwoman, Jim McGovern kind of talked about this in the beginning, how Republicans are trying to paint Democrats as uh, hysterical. They're saying the sky is falling. I mean, oh, look at them. They're lunatics. When in reality, the sky is falling for millions of Americans who are going to lose access to food and medicine. But what really irks me about this, and this kind of goes back to the point I made about Donald Trump and the lies and how he's going to blame Democrats for this. Donald Trump spent 4 years after he lost in 2020 saying that the sky is falling under President Biden, fear mongering that President Biden is ripping this country apart and that he stole the election. So the fact that the chairwoman, the ranking member, the ranking Republican on the House Rules Committee can so flippantly, nonchalantly try to paint the Democrats as being hysterical when hysteria is what Donald Trump knows. That's what he works best in. It's so maddening and frustrating. But I want to know what your thoughts are. Be sure to leave your reflections down in the comments below and subscribe to Reflect Politics so you get my future videos delivered straight to you. Thanks for watching. My name is Brendan Plank. Hope to see you in the next video.